Good morning, Mr. Yusuf.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you for joining.
Please, can you see me?
Our students to come on board by 10.
Is my camera on?
No, your camera is off.
Oh, wow. This is a serious problem. My camera is on. So what do I? Hello, can you see me now?
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir. We can't see you. So I think your webcam has a cover. So if there's a cover, you can open the cover.
Okay, just a moment.
So if you are using a laptop, I think it has a webcam cover. So you can just
I'm
find
using
it and is it open?
using my. So I'm trying to open it now.
Okay.
So is it open now?
No, it's not true.
Okay, it's not okay. So I think that's the issue.
Just a moment. It's-
Yeah, it's showing now.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Just,
So you also be sharing a slide, right?
yeah, I will.
Okay. You can just try it out. So let's see if it's going to. Yeah.
See, I am very sure that you will have all of this handled. There's nothing I can do here apart from give you anxiety. So let me look at it myself.
So, hello.
Yes, sir.
They said you've disabled sharing screen.
Yes. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, you should be able to do that.
Okay, just a moment. Okay. Is it showing now?
No, it's not. All right, we can see it now.
Okay.
It's sharing. Thank you.
Yeah. So,
So we'll be starting very soon. So you can stop sharing now. So when you're about to start again. All right, thank you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining in. I can see Uka Chuku Francis on the call. Can you please notify your colleagues, maybe on your WhatsApp group chat, any way you guys communicate? Can you notify them that the training is on and they should join in now? Thank you, Mr. Yusuf, for joining. Okay, we start now. Welcome everyone once again to day 2 of Pro Engage training session. Thank you all for bringing your energy to the room yesterday, though we are still expecting a number of you. But for those in the room already, thank you so much. Thank you for all this. Thank you to all the students that joined from Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Abia State University, Amadeus University, Madonna University, Renaissance University, and Let's Federal University. We are still expecting a number of you this morning, and we look forward to having you. So, as a way of reintroduction, ProEngage connects the next generation of mass communication experts with experienced media practitioners to strengthen investigative rigor, reinforce its ethical standards, and build structured mentoring pathways. And that is why we are here. I'm sure that my colleague Mariam did a solid work introducing us to the program yesterday. I just thought to remind us that that's the aim behind this training or this program. I would take a quick recap of all that we learned yesterday, but I would also want to hear from some of the students who are in the room already. Drop in the comment section some of the light bulb moments you had yesterday, some of the nuggets you got from yesterday training session with Miss Alaka. I would like to read your thoughts, read your comments, read whatever insights you got, while as well go on sharing some of the things I got from the session yesterday. So yesterday, Miss Muturayo Alaka, Miss Alaka, sorry, she took us through ethical. She took us through how to balance ethics and the work that we do or that we will be doing. And she also talked about social responsibility. One thing that stood with me during our session yesterday was the 4-way ethical test she took us through. Yesterday, she taught us how to verify a report before we go on sharing. She mentioned that before we go on sharing a report, we should first check if it is the truth, if it is verified and evidence-based, is it fair to all concerned? And that's where the social responsibility comes to play. Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Is it of public interest, or you just want to gain attention? Will it be beneficial to all concerned, or will it damage trusts long term in the long term? So those are that's one of the key parts that stood with me yesterday. Like I mentioned earlier, I would really like to read from every one of us that is a student on the call. Drop in the comment section one or two things that jumped at you yesterday, or one or two things that you learned from the session yesterday. She also spoke about, for a press to be responsible, it is not just up to the journalist. She talked about the relationship that must exist, or the alignment that must be between four group of people. Those we have the journalists, the media owners, the government and the public. So as future journalists, a way to ensure that we are being socially responsible is to be sure that whatever it is we are putting out it's kind of have like it promotes all these groups that I've mentioned. And also, it's not just the journalist alone that has to do the reporting and that has to do the accountability aspect. Every other stakeholders I mentioned has to be accountable. She also, one thing she mentioned that yesterday, I also kind of think that will be of great benefit to us as students, is to always aim for the best edits. Okay, I can see that our comments are coming in already. Please drop your comments, one or two things that resonated with you, or one thing that you learned from the training session yesterday. She said we should always aim for the best edits, and that's a key thing. For you to be ethical, your reports must be factual, and for your report to be factual, it has to be edited correctly and accurately. It has to contain accurate information. We also had an interesting debate. Yeah, that was like the most interesting part for me, the part where we had two groups debate on an image that was captured by Kevin Carter during a war in Sudan. We had people come on the call to share their insights. I'll quickly read through some of the comments I have. At my age, she said, I learned as a journalist, you don't have to say everyone is reporting what happened. And as a journalist, you don't have to be quick in posting here, because she created a scenario that we all responded to, that assuming you heard the news that there's insecurity, there's an issue happening in a university nearby, and they are shutting down because of the issue, or in universities around, that what would be your reaction? Like there's an insecurity issue around the university, happening across universities around you, what would you do? And your editor is your TV, your school online TV editor is asking you to publish, and we all shared our insights. So yeah, thank you so much for that. If you still want to drop your comments, drop your insights, please do. Okay, I see that most of us haven't really cracked the code around editing our names. I can still see that some of us still have our surnames. Miss Alaka mentioned yesterday that your first name should come first before your surname. And she shared with us how that is the global standard. Mary is saying, I learned that as a journalist, you have to be accurate here and credible. Don't be quick in reporting. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Okay, today we are moving on to a more interesting session. And I say interesting because we are in a digital era, right? I know some years back, Marshall McLuhan says, the world will soon become a global village, but now here we are, it's a global village, and that's because of the introduction of technology and digital platforms. So today we are talking about digital tools in investigative journalism, and I have someone who has the experience and has enough insights to share with us this day. I would implore us all to please try as much as possible to stay to the end of the training, because it's going to be an amazing ride. Today we'll be led by Kabir Yusuf. Mr. Yusuf is an investigative journalist with extensive years of experience in journalism, project management, and research. He started his career in 2018, driven by the desire to help build democracy, development, and civic census in Nigeria's multi-ethnic life. Proud to, okay, he works as investigations editor at Premium Times, Nigerian's flagship accountability newspaper. I'm proud to his work at Premium Times. He was a graduate intern at Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism. I want to highlight that for us to know that he just did not get into Premium Times. He just didn't wake up into getting into Premium Times. He was once a graduate intern, which I believe some of us would soon be. So with I want us to with our digital emojis, I want us to welcome Mr. Yusuf to the conversation, to the training by reacting this react and as a show of appreciation and welcoming him to the conversation. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Yusuf, over to you. Hello, Mr. Yusuf, are you there? So Mr. Yusuf will be taking us on that session for the next 45 minutes, after which he would then give us a bit of, we would have question and answer session, then give us a bit of an activity to engage in, which would then go into our different breakout rooms like we did yesterday. And from there, we'll pick up the conversation. So now, Mr. Yusuf, over to you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you so much all for joining this meeting, and I hope we have a very fantastic session yesterday. I mean, of course, all the time it's always good to have an interactive session with Mrs. Alaka, and like the moderator Eunice introduced, I was also once a graduate intern at Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, and it was just shortly after a program like this back then in the university that I had the opportunity to apply for the graduate internship at Wole Soyinka Center. And I can tell you that it's been an amazing experience and, a turning point for me, or that was even the starting point that really drives my journalism career, to have that practical and hands-on experience in the field working with Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism. So thank you very much. This morning, Eunice said I have just 40 minutes, and I will try my best to, do all the presentation, but I have a lot to share. I will share my screen with you now. I'm going to take us on a subject called, Introduction to Digital Tools in Investigative Journalism. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yeah, we can see your screen, Mr. Yusuf.
Brilliant. Thank you. So, by show of hands, maybe just one or two persons, can I get someone who can tell me a brief about their understanding of digital tools in investigative journalism? You can raise your hand if you want to speak.
Mr. Yusuf, Francis's hand is on Ukachukwu. I'm going to ask him to unmute him.
Okay, yes, please.
You can speak.
So, good day, everyone. Digital tools are actually tools that we use, everyday tools used in investigative journalism that has to do with that electronic or online to carry out investigative journalism. That's what I have.
Okay, thank you so much, Francis. Any other person?
Okay, Amechi, please go on and speak. I've asked you to unmute. Okay, while you're at it, Prosper, if you're able to unmute. Okay, Amechi, please go on.
Digital tools in investigating journalists are tools that are used to gather and analyze information.
Okay, thank you so much, Amechi.
Then we have one. How many persons are you able to take, or how many persons do you want to
okay.
take more? We
It's
have
okay.
two more people here.
We've gotten 2 people. I think that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So thank you, Amechi, for that. Digital tools are, unlike the traditional method of investigative journalism that we use. The traditional method, us going on the ground to gather materials, to speak with people, to source evidence locally or traditionally, going from one place to another. Digital tools are tools that we use digitally without having to leave sometime the comfort of your room. You can use these digital tools. They will give you all the necessary evidence or all the necessary materials you need for your investigative journalism. Simply put, you can use these tools for your reporting and gather you have all the data, you have the documents, you have the tools to verify those data, you have the tool to verify the evidence, you have the tool to test your hypothesis. We have tools that help us trace back images. We have tools that help us, test every form of hypothesis we need for our investigation. These are digital tools, and thanks to these tools today, sometimes some investigations rely heavily on these tools to, get everything we need and push it out to the public, and we end up delivering impactful journalism through digital tools. We have open source tools alongside or as part of the digital tools. All these are tools that today you don't have to leave your office. If you are working in an office, if you work with the Wole Soyinka Center and you have an investigations to do, I'm going to introduce us to some of these tools that will be very more than enough for us to carry out investigations. And these are tools that not just in Nigeria, actually globally, even the most consequential pieces of investigations in this age have been produced using these digital tools. So since because we don't have much time, I will go to this. This is what every investigation needs, whether digital investigation, whether traditional investigation. Every investigation needs these 5 elements. You need, number 1, hypothesis. Can anyone tell me what they understand by hypothesis? Anyone? Just one person? Yes, Esther.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead. Eunice, can you hear her?
No, I can't. I can't say her.
Okay. Esther, please, you have the floor. Speak up if you can hear me. Your hand is raised.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Esther Mefle, and the word hypothesis, what I learned is the tentative, testable statement or prediction about the relationship between two or more variables.
Thank you so much. That's brilliant. That is what hypothesis is. If you want to look at it more broadly in investigative journalism, what we will see is hypothesis is, a clear and, like she said, tentative, but this time around, I want to use the word testable theory that drives your inquiry. So just like in school, we have in our final year, some of you are in your final year, during our project, you have to have this hypothesis or research question that will drive your research throughout. Your research must be guided by these research questions that you're going to ask or the hypothesis. In this case, anytime you're going on an investigative journalism project, you have to ask yourself, what is your hypothesis? Hypothesis must also be a form of assumption and facts, while not entirely assuming, but a hypothesis must have some form of facts and evidence so that it can be easily proven when you start your investigation. So hypothesis, like I said, is a clear and testable theory that drives your inquiry. And when you map out before you begin any investigation, you have to take note of this, please. Write out your hypothesis. What do you want to prove? What do you want to debunk? What is out there that you need to find? Have you identified a gap? You have identified a lacuna that you need to fill. You have to test this hypothesis. Secondly, you have to gather your evidence. What evidence do you have before embarking on that investigation or before embarking on that investigative reporting? Because the reporting is the pre-investigation step. You have to start the reporting. Eventually, you can write or produce the investigation that you are working on. So you need to gather all this evidence. Some of this evidence are documents. They are in the form of documents. You have thousands of documents that you have to review sometimes before publishing an investigation, and that is what is going to serve as your evidence. You also have data. Sometimes you have large chunk of data from World Bank, from Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, from World Health Organization, different organizations. So if your investigation has to do with data, this is the time to test that data as an evidence. To verify that data, what do you need? Is it an authority that's releasing that data for you? Then you have witnesses. Sometimes your evidence for any investigation is your witness. So who is your witness? And then you need to review verified records. Now, step 3 is you need verification. After having your hypothesis tested, your documents, your data, all the evidence gathered, the next step is cross-checking facts and multiple independent sources. You have to cross-check your facts from multiple independent sources. I repeat, you have to use multiple independent sources. So for instance, you have the data coming out from a certain organization, or you were privileged to get that data from a source who leaked the data to you. You have to use other techniques to verify that data, and you need to use multiple sources. We're going to get to that later about verifying sources and verifying data and any evidence that we have for investigation. The next step is your timeline. You have to set out a time frame for any investigation that you're working on. You cannot just start working on an investigation today, and if I ask you as an editor, when do you hope to publish this investigation? You tell me that, well, I have to go to the field, I have to speak with my sources, I have to arrange an interview with this. Then I know you have to set a timeline, whether it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 7 weeks, 3 months. There must be a time frame that can guide how you go about that investigation. And then you need the accountability angle. Every investigation needs to have this accountability angle. we need to understand that we are in a democracy in Nigeria, and in many modern democracies, journalism is situated around the accountability matrix. So the whole essence of journalism in a democratic setting like ours in Nigeria is to demand accountability, is to hold power holders accountable. Therefore, any investigation that we are working on, we need to ask this question of accountability angle. Who is responsible for that investigation that you're about to produce? How do they answer or account for it? You have to answer these questions. What are you trying to expose? What are you trying to reveal in your investigation? Are you trying to, expose wrongdoing in the public sector, in government agency, in a ministry? You need to have this accountability angle. And when you expose that person, your investigation should tell us that who is responsible for that failure. If it is a regulatory failure that you're exposing, tell us what is or who is responsible for that failure and what is the consequences. And that is accountability. And this whole thing that we're talking about, investigative journalism, in other words, we call it accountability journalism. And like I said, most democracies today, accountability journalism or journalism itself, when we talk about journalism in a democracy, we're talking about journalism within the context of accountability angle. So we have to emphasize on this accountability. So please, when you go to the field, or if you now and you're working on any investigation, one of the things that you need to ask yourself is, what is the accountability angle? If you've seen a wrongdoing in your school and you want it exposed, please let us know what is the accountability angle. What is it that you're trying to prove? Understand that you are not just writing for the sake of writing, you are not just knocking and investigating. No, when you find out that this is what I'm about to investigate, you have all the evidence, you have the hypothesis, you have the timeline, then you ask yourself, what is the accountability angle? Who am I holding responsible? That is very, very important. And every major investigation began as a bad idea. Difference is that someone kept asking questions. So please go back to the 5 steps that I mentioned earlier. When you have an investigation and you think that it's a bad idea, you ask yourself again or you tell yourself this, that every major investigation began as a bad idea. The only difference is that someone kept asking questions and eventually they got answers. So please, I will just go straight. Earlier I was talking about the traditional techniques. Let me just briefly mention again, the traditional techniques is, talking to people before we began an investigation, before the digital tools, we just go around, talking to people, our sources, whether it's face-to-face or via our mobile, you interview people, you interview all your sources to know that, okay, what is it are they telling you? What are they offering to share for your investigation? And then you ask the right questions, of course, to the right people. Then persistence is another technique of traditional investigation. You chase leads, following up, and of course, never giving up. Sometimes you have to chase sources for several months, for several weeks, depending on what you are investigating. When you chase these people and you remain persistent, sometimes you're going to get the result. Then when you have teamwork, some investigations require you working as a team with colleagues. You don't just have to work together today, or 2 persons. You can even work across newsrooms, because collaborative investigative journalism, this is still applicable even in the digital era. This collaborative investigative journalism, because almost all the most consequential investigations in the last 10 years, from the Panama Papers, the Pandora Papers, all of it are a product of collaborative investigations across newsrooms, across jurisdiction across several countries and continents. Journalists come together and work on these investigations, and that is what we saw as the result of the Panama Papers, the Paradise Papers, the Pandora Papers. I urge us all as students of journalism and would-be investigative journalists to look up to these consequential investigations that have been published in Nigeria, the Pandora Papers, the Panama Papers, the Swiss, what is it called again? The Pandora Papers, Panama and Paradise Papers. These three papers were published 2016, 2019, and 2021. The Nigerian angle to that were published by Premium Times, is the Nigerian partners, and we published a lot of investigations. We published a lot of reports. You're going to learn a lot from the Pandora and Panama papers. So I urge us all, you can check on Premium Times website to read these reports. It's going to, enhance your understanding of this practical aspect of what we're talking about today of collaborative investigative journalism. Then you have to keep knocking on the doors, just like being persistent. When you keep knocking, doing on the ground reporting and gathering physical evidence, eventually you're going to have answers. So I will move quickly to the digital tools. After the transition from traditional techniques, we moved to the digital tools that we rely heavily on for our investigations. Some of these tools are that I'm going to be sharing with us today. I mean, the tools are just numerous. In fact, there is just no limit. You, depending on what you come across, depending on how you versatile you are also to these tools, that's what will make you stand out and distinguish yourself in today's world. We have what we call document cloud. Document Cloud is a digital tool that helps us to track, just a moment. It helps us to track document appearances, embedding articles, and how we can share this document. Let me share Document Cloud with us. Can you see my page?
No, we can't.
Wow, okay. Just a moment. Okay, can you see that now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so I'm going to share my slides with you after the presentation. So, but I'm just trying to take us through this the page so that you see what you can do with that. So this is the page of Document Cloud, where you can upload, analyze, and embedded documents. You're likely going to come across thousands or sometimes millions of documents. During the Pandora Papers at Premium Times, we had more than 14 million documents. So how do we review all these documents to tell stories that will not be more than 10? It's going to be a lot. So sometimes documents like these are what helps us to analyze these documents. On this page alone, as you can see, there are more than 7 million public documents. More than 7 million public documents. All you need to do is, when you have an investigation that's related to some certain people in Nigeria or in Africa, in the US, or wherever it is, just go to Document Cloud, search for the name of the person you are working on, search for the name of the company, search for the name of the organization, or the parties interested or related to your investigations. You're likely going to have large chunk of evidence, sometimes evidence that don't even exist to you, but you come across them working with platforms like Document Cloud. So this is one platform that is very, very useful. Going forward, please let's use these documents, or let's use this platform for our investigations. It's going to help us a lot, to find procurement record, sometimes to find company filings, sometimes to find court records, land records, audit records. All these are types of documents that you think are not available when you begin an investigation, when you have your hypothesis, you have an idea, but you don't know how to proceed. So just go on Document Cloud and search for some of these records, and you're going to have large documents that you never think existed. And these are documents that will form, basis for your investigation. So moving forward, we have another document called Open Cloud. Open Corporates. This Open Corporates, just like the one that I mentioned earlier, Document Cloud. This is also another platform, but this is a platform that gives us, an idea about company records that existed or they don't exist. This is a platform that can help you to track beneficiaries of companies that you never know existed. Last month, we published a report on Premium Times about Herbert Wigwe. Anyone aware of that investigation? About the late Herbert Wigwe, the late CEO of Access Bank. Anyone aware of that investigation? None? Eunice, do you know if anyone has raised their hands? I can't see anyone from my end.
No, sir. Someone responded in the chat box. She said no, sir.
Okay. So we published a report last month, and that report, let me share. I'm going to share the link with us. With that report, trace 80 companies linked to Herbert Wigwe, the late CEO of Access Bank, about his interests, business interests across 20 countries that nobody knew the man has that interest. So when you mentioned Herbert Wigwe before, the assumption or the first thing that comes to people's mind is Access Bank. When you mention Herbert Wigwe, that's the only thing that comes to people's mind, Access Bank. But the man has more than 80 companies across 20 countries, more than 80 companies across 20 countries that existed, and many people were not aware of this until we published that investigation last month at Premium Times. That is when people began to wow. So Herbert Wigwe was also into oil and gas. We don't know. Herbert was also into real estate. He was also into so many business interests that people were not aware. So platform like this that we call Open Corporates, it can help you with advanced search. As of today, we have more than 22 million company records on Open Corporates. You can look at it on my screen, more than 22 million companies. So all you need to do is to come on this, search the company that you are looking for, in what jurisdiction, if it's in Nigeria, if it's in any country. You can see that there are so many countries here. So you go through this platform to help you test some of these companies. So this was the company that we used to publish that story on Herbert Wigwe. We had a lot of data. In fact, we could not finish. And there are so many people today, you can just be in your class today or after your lectures and you want to investigate some of the Nigerian billionaires that you think have businesses outside Nigeria. You can go on documents like or platform like Open Corporates to search for some of these companies, and you're going to get a lot of information. Or some people reached out to you maybe via LinkedIn to see that, look, I want us to partner on certain projects, and this is a cross-border project. All you need to do is to get access or introduce them to platforms like Open Corporates so that you review company records. And I promise you that you're going to have a lot of information that is not in the public. But through these platforms, you're going to have a lot of information, and it's going to be very helpful for your investigation. This is another tool. Now, let's move forward. We have another platform called Dashboard. But apart from, sorry, before I move forward, there is another platform in Nigeria. That one is just restricted to Nigeria. The platform is called NG Check. Anybody aware of that? Are we aware of NG Check? NG Check is just like Open Corporates, but that one is limited to Nigerian companies. It helps us gather all information about companies registered in Nigeria. So if you have a company that you are investigating that you think that that company is involved in some wrongdoing and you have no idea who are the people behind that company, or you are working on a project that the Nigerian government is awarding, some staggering contracts to a certain company, and you want to know that who is behind this company that is getting trillions of naira what project, you can go on NG Check or the Corporate Affairs Commission Beneficial Ownership Company. So this is the platform. Let me share with us. This is NG Check. You can go and check them out. So any company that you're looking for, I don't know if it's updated today, but let's check, for instance, Olishinka Center. So this is, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen, Mr. Yusuf.
Okay, so that is NG Check taking us to the page of Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism. It gives us the full name, company, when the company was incorporated, the registration number in 2009, the current status, also their address. I'm not sure this is the current address, but this used to be their address, or this was the address listed with Corporate Affairs Commission. So this is the company, and these are the details that you need. It helps. Then you go, sometimes it gives you list of directors, owners, and key management of the company. In this case, they did not mention who are the directors, but you see that in many companies that are listed on this platform, I like it a lot because I get to know who are the directors behind some companies. And the most important one today is the Corporate Affairs Beneficial Register. Corporate Affairs Beneficial Ownership Register. That platform, what it gives us is that no matter who you are in Nigeria and you own a company, you have to declare who are the beneficial owners of that company, and you have to register it with Corporate Affairs Commission. That these are, because before now people can just open a company through proxies, or they use any form of name to say that this is the name of the company, and then they file it with Corporate Affairs Commission. So today, it's mandatory for whoever wants to open a company as a legal entity in Nigeria. You have to file with Corporate Affairs who are the beneficial owners of that company, and what percentage did they own. So let's say today we have a name of a company called Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, and you want to know the people behind that company. All you need to do is to write to the Corporate Affairs Commission or go to the Corporate Affairs Beneficial Ownership. You enter their register, put the name of the company, and you're going to see who are the people that own that company that you are working on. It's going to help you a lot. And that is what is going to help you understand sometimes when there is a conflict of interest, when politicians own companies, but they go through public offices and award contracts to this company. So, for instance, I will give you an example. The Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, there's been a lot of discussion around that contract that was awarded in 2024, I think. And people are saying that that company, the son of the president, Sheyi Tinubu, has a stake in that company. And your role as a journalist is to trace that. And how can you test that fact? Is it true that Sheyi Tinubu has a stake in that company? What is the percentage of his stake? Or the president Bola Tinubu himself, if he has a stake in that company. Platforms like the Corporate Affairs Beneficial Register, Beneficial Ownership Register, it will help you understand that who owns what company, what is their percentage in that company. If they have resigned as directors of that company, the Corporate Affairs will also give you that information. And if they are still serving as directors, it will also help you with that understanding. I remember in 2024 also, there was a story that the Minister of Interior today, Minister of Interior, Tunji Ojo, he has a company that he ran for more than 20 years, and that company secured a government contract worth over 400 million naira. And his defense was that he has resigned from the company, but since his wife still controls that company, it's just like saying that I have a company today, I have resigned, but I've joined the government, and my wife is collecting contract really worth millions of naira for that company. And when I come out to defend that contract, I will say that, look, I've resigned, but my family is still benefiting. And that is a clear case of conflict of interest. How do we know about this? We use platforms like Corporate Affairs Beneficial Ownership Register to trace that company and know who are the directors behind that companies and what is their stake in that company. Now, that is another tool that is extremely helpful for us as investigative journalists today. Eunice, do I still have time?
It's exactly 10:46, and you can take
No, we
four
didn't
more
start.
minutes because we started a bit late.
Yeah, we just started a
So
bit late.
let's do 10:50.
Okay, so I will share another platform with us. This is very interesting platform. I find this very helpful, and for my reports, and for you aspiring journalists, or if you're already practicing, you should please note this platform that I'm about to share with us. It's called Corruption Database, or Corruption Cases Database. This is a platform of Transparency International. They created this platform to gather and document corruption cases in Nigeria, to gather and document cybercrime fraud cases, money laundering, almost all forms of crime in Nigeria. They have this data portal that that documents these cases. You may not know where to find these cases today, but with platforms like what is it called, corruption cases database. It makes it very easy for us to know who is committing what crime, who is the judge behind that investigation, who is, being prosecuted, and what agency is prosecuting that person. So this platform is called Corruption Cases Database. Does anyone know about this platform before now? Anyone? Okay, so let me share the platform with us. And this platform is what we're going to use for the next aspect of this training. So can you see my screen?
Yes, it was up. Okay, yeah, it's up now.
Okay, yeah. So this is the platform. It's called Corruption Cases Database, and it helps us. As you can see, these are a list of cases of corruption. Let's look at one of the cases. Yeah, so you are aware of a case of the Nigerian government investigating senior lawyer called Mike Uzikume. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria. So this platform is documenting, tell us that the next day of sitting for that case is on 29th June. The prosecuting agency is EFCC. The presiding judge for that case is Justice C.N. OG of the FCT High Court in Abuja, and then the alleged offense is forgery. So if you need details about upcoming cases in Nigeria, you can go to that platform called Corruption Cases Database. Also, if you need cases of high profile cases of politically exposed persons, you need to go to Corruption Cases Database. There is a lot of data sitting on that platform that many people are not aware. And today, from your school, from your classroom, from your hostel, all you need is to go through that document, go through the data that they have, and you're going to tell a lot of interesting stories that are not in the public. And it's going to be helpful. Even so many journalists are not aware of this platform we're talking about. So please make use of these platforms and the others that I mentioned. My screen. Let's see one of the data. So this is the data portal for Corruption Cases Database. They have records of data, more than 4,238 cases of crime fraud. When you go through it, you are going to see all the details. More than 1,300 cases of fraud documented that Nigerian government is prosecuting. Cases of money laundering, cases of stealing, a lot of cases that you can see on my screen is the data portal. You have cases also by court. 45% of the cases we see above are being handled by federal high courts. 47% are being handled by state high courts, and then you have 6% by FCT high courts. Then you have data from monthly cases history. So you can see that in January, we have 23, that's January 2025. This is May, this is December 2025. So this is the track record that you need. So all you need to do is to go on this platform. You're going to have a lot of cases. This is a tool that's very, very helpful if you are following a case, like the case of Mike Uzikume that we have. Yesterday, there was a press release that states that the Supreme Court committee has suspended his senior advocate of Nigeria title. Today, as a journalist or as a would-be investigative journalist, you can go to this platform, go and look for the details of the case that EFCC is investigating Chief Mike Ozukume. You're going to have all the details there. You can tell another story. Go and look for the document of the UK court that was published in September 2025. We saw the document last year. That was the beginning of the whole investigation. Review the document, review what the EFCC is prosecuting him for, and then you can tell another story using this platform.
Hello, Mr. Yusuf.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, the time allotted for this session is up now. Maybe you can come back to this when you're about to explain the group activity for them.
Okay, so thank you so much. I have so many other platforms. Just give me a moment, please. Let me share this. It's just one page so that they see the rest of the documents that I was not able to share. So this is the last document that I just presented now, but these are other platforms or other tools of investigative journalism that can be of great help to you. We have Open Treasury Portal. We have another platform called Nigerian Government Spending Record. We have another platform, Development Tracker, Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, Auditor General Reports, Shell Oil Spill Data, World Bank Data, FARA, Foreign Agents Registration. These are other platforms or tools that will be very, very important for your investigative journalism career. And I hope you visit these platforms after the program. I hope we can also have another session that's going to give us ample opportunity to discuss these platforms in details and how you can go about applying these platforms in your career. Thank you so much, Eunice, for the opportunity, and I will talk to you soon in the next session. Or if you have any question, you can let me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yusuf, for such an insightful session. So because of our time, we're really pressed for time. I'll just take some of the questions that's in the chat box already. Okay, and maybe one or two persons will ask their questions directly as well. So this question is coming from Grace. Grace is asking, can I use this corruption cases database for a company investigation? Hello, Mr. Yusuf, are you there? Can you hear us?
Can you take that again?
Okay. Grace is asking, can I use this corruption cases database for a company investigation?
No, you can't use corruption database for company investigations because this platform only documents cases of corruption that the federal government of Nigeria is investigating. So you can use it for corruption cases, or if you are working on an investigation that has to do with crime-related stuffs, like you want to know number of money laundering cases of stealing, cases of what is it called again? Data or digital crime. These are some of the issues that you can use corruption cases to investigate, and it gives you all the record of such investigations. And like I mentioned, the case of Mike Ozukume is a case of forgery, and the government is prosecuting him for that. So you can have all the details of that case, the judge presiding, the prosecuting agency, the timeline for the trial, and every information you need regarding that trial, but you may not have details about company records on corruption cases database. But the platforms that we discussed previously, the Open Corporates, the NG Check, the Corporate Affairs Commission, Beneficial Register, all these are platforms that gives you information about companies and company registry platforms, but not corruption cases database.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Yusuf. We have other questions in the chat box. Do you want me to read them out for you?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. So Deborah is asking, are these platforms 100% guaranteed to deliver accurate information, sir?
Yeah, so thank you so much. That's very, very important question. Platforms, like all the platforms that I shared with you, when you go through the information, you see that it's not just the platform is not the one that owns the documents or data that is given you. There is always a source for that data. So if data is coming from World Bank and it's uploaded on, let's say, Open Cloud, the first platform, the first tool that I shared with us, it will be stated there that this data belongs to World Bank. And you, as an investigative journalist, you have to take a step further to verify that data. After obtaining the data from Open Cloud, you have to take a step further to verify that data independently. And this is what I said beginning of this conversation, that digital tools are not enough today for us to rely on. We have all the tools that we need, but is left to us, or it's also a responsibility for us to take a step further to verify these tools. And this verification, you can use on another digital tool to verify these tools. It's just because of time. I have in my presentation digital tools that I share for verifying images, for verifying documents, and for verifying text. So when you get the data, for instance, Open Cloud or corporate, or sorry, the second platform I shared with us, that's Open Corporates. When you get a platform, when you get the data or documents from these platforms, it's your duty and your responsibility to go step further to verify that data and check multiple sources in verifying that data. Don't just rely on one step or one source. You have to use multiple platforms to verify information, and that is how you go about, verifying the authenticity of the data. You use the digital tools to get the data. You can use a traditional technique of verification. You can call agencies responsible for that companies to say that, look, we are working on so investigation, and this is the data that we have today. We are verifying whether you are a director in this company, whether you have a stake in this company. So this is the traditional technique that you're going to apply in verifying the tools. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yusuf, for that. We now have questions coming in, but because of our time, we won't be able to take all the questions. I'll just take one more question.
One more. Yes.
Yes, from the chat box and remove. So Amechi is asking, but sir, what is the case you are dealing with? What if the case you are dealing with is not on the platforms you listed? What else can you do?
Yes, like I said again, Amechi, thank you for that question. In the beginning of my presentation, I mentioned that the platforms I'm going to share, I think they are just about 10 or so. They are not exhaustive. There are still thousands of platforms or tools out there that can help you with your investigations. And even there are some investigations that you're going to work on that you have to, just use the traditional or conventional technique to gather your materials, and it's not going to be available. So sometimes all these platforms that we have, there are still a lot of investigations that you are going to embark on, and you are not going to get all the details you need on these platforms. But these are just tools that that are going to help you. And like I said, some of the platforms that I shared, like the Open Corporates, I show us on the screen that they have records of more than 222 million companies. That is not all the companies across the world. But if you have data in a platform that gives you details about more than 200 million companies, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot. So you are not going to have all the information about all the investigations that you are going to work on, but these are tools that you can just keep trying. Sometimes there are going to be investigations that you don't know that information exists there, but you're going to come across it. And like I said, this is the point of combining the digital and traditional technique of investigations. When you don't find this information online, you don't just wait or end the investigation that no, there is no information available. You have to try the traditional method. You have to keep asking questions. You have to ask the relevant agencies. You have to ask your sources that gives you the leak. Sometimes if it's a whistleblower, you have to ask them to provide a lead. Sometimes if it's government agencies, there is just no exhaustive method or platforms that will be enough to cover all the investigations across the world. But we're always going to have these tools that will be very helpful for us, and also combined with the traditional method, there's a lot that we can achieve. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf. We won't be able to take any more questions because of time. So now we'll move on to the hands-on activity session. Before Mr. Yusuf goes on to share everything that this session entails, like the activity and everything, I want to give us like a heads up that is going to there's going to be like a breakout session. It's going to be a breakout session where we will all be assigned into different rooms, right? And as we move into that breakout rooms, I just want us to, so that we can make the most out of the time allotted for the session. Please, as you join in, assign a lead or get someone to take note on behalf of your team, because when you come back to this main session, somebody will be presenting on behalf of your team. So when you get into your breakout rooms, ensure that you have someone who will come and present on your behalf by the time you get back to the major room. And also, definitely staff members from WSIJ will be in the rooms with you to guide you and give you the necessary guidance you need. So I'll hand over to Mr. Yusuf now, who will give us all the information we need about the breakout session. And also, Mr. Yusuf has mentioned a couple of tools. Don't worry, we will share all the materials with you for you to catch up on those tools and see how best you can make the most of them. Over to you, Mr. Yusuf.
Okay, thank you. I've shared a number of tools with us. So for the purpose of this group assignment, we're going to limit the assignment to just one tool and how we can apply it in our investigations. So all the groups are going to have to work on that assignment using that platform. I'm going to share the questions with us and what each group is expected to do. Eunice is going to share all participants into at least, Eunice, let's have 5 groups so that they work on this practical session and they present in the next few minutes. So this is the question. So just a moment. So the last two I just presented, corruption cases database, that's what all the 5 groups are going to work on. Group 1, their assignment is this. I want you to find the top 5 politically persons in corruption cases in Nigeria today. Top 5 politically exposed persons that have been investigated. The data is available on corruption cases database. So help us get the top 5. Your presenter will list who are these people. And also the platform gives us the information below. And I want you to also share this information with us. What is their alleged offense? What is the date of the next sitting? What is the prosecuting agency? And who is the presiding judge for each of these cases? That is the assignment for group 1. Again, the platform is here, corruption cases database. Once you go on Google, you're going to see this is the website here. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
That's for group 1. Is that clear? Can I take the next group?
Yes, sir. You can
Okay.
go on to this group.
So for group 2, this is different, but quite similar. We have high-profile cases of corruption in Nigeria. High-profile cases of corruption. So I just want you to please, using that platform again, help us get the top 5 high-profile corruption cases. Name the person, amount allegedly diverted, the case summary, and then the length of trial. That's for group 2. I expect your presenter to give us the top 5 high-profile cases of corruption in Nigeria today, name of the person, the amount they allegedly diverted, the case summary, and the length of the trial. Then group 3, there are cases of never-ending corruption cases in Nigeria, since 2007, 2005, 2010, 2026 today, but these cases are still on. They are never ending. So the corruption cases database categorized these cases as never ending corruption cases. So I want you to list also top 5 never ending corruption cases in Nigeria. Let's get the names, the length of trial, the case update. The platform gives us case update. That is, they gives update about these cases over time. That's from 2007, or if the case started in 2011, that's almost 15 years or 16 years today. So let's get the case update. What is the EFCC, the presiding judge, what are they saying about that case? Also tell us who is the prosecuting judge. Then for group 4, let's know what corruption cases database is telling us, the data. What is it telling us about top 10 offenses that's taking Nigerians to jail? We have the data of cases. We have mentioned some of the crimes before: stealing, forgery, different cases. So let's know what are the top 10 offenses that are taking Nigerians to jail. List these offenses, data behind the offenses, how many people have been jailed or how many people have been prosecuted for that case, and then tell us what is the top 5 states on the list, and also percentage of cases that have been decided. Some cases have been decided, others have not been decided. So those that have been decided, there's also a section of the data that shows that these cases have not been decided, and this is the reason. Maybe the case is still on trial, they're still gathering evidence. Let's know what's the percentage of cases that have been decided. That is for group 4. Lastly, group 5, I want to know the cases the EFCC is prosecuting right now. The platform gives us this opportunity to know cases that EFCC is prosecuting right now. So I want to know top 5 of these cases. What is the type of offense? Who are the presiding judges? Name of the court, and then status of the case. That is our practical assignment. All the groups are going to use one single platform, the corruption cases database, for their assignments, and we can continue the conversation in 5 or maybe 7 minutes, depending on time that's available to us. Thank you so much all.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We've also dropped the slide Mr. Yusuf just presented now, dropped it in the chat box so that you can easily make reference to it. By now, I'm expecting everyone to have downloaded that slide and have it open on their phone so as to know the particular task assigned to each group. Now you will not be assigned. Yeah, you'll be assigned to a breakout room. You'll be assigned randomly. You don't have to select the group you want to choose. You will be assigned randomly. Just once you get into your group, get started with whatever you have to do. Remember that the breakout room is timed. You'll see the timer and you'll be alerted when it's almost time for the breakout room to end. And you all will be returned to this main session. So you all will be assigned to the breakout room. Once you get into your breakout room, select your speaker, discuss the task, settle it amongst yourself, and remember your speaker will come back here to present once you all are returned to the main room. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. I hope we're able to solve the task in our respective breakout rooms. Okay. So now we'll move into the presentation session, and we don't have so much time. So each group, you have to present between 2 to 3 minutes. Be as concise as you can so that you can get the facilitator's feedback on your presentation. 2 to 3 minutes. I want to believe we all have our representatives now. Group 1, who is representing Group 1? We have a representative for Group 1. You can raise your digital hand, and you'll be asked to unmute. Okay, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, please go on.
Okay. Well, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible. Please go on.
Okay. My name is Emmanuel Victory, representative for Group 1. So our task was to search on the top 5 political exposed persons involved in corruption in Nigeria. So for number 1, we have Ahmed Idris for an alleged 109 billion fraud for diversion of public and money laundering. So the presiding judge is Honorable Justice Emeka Nwauite, and the prevailing agencies were the EFCC. Sorry, I mean the presiding judge is Honorable Idris Wadeyemi of the FCT High Court of Abuja, and the prevailing agency is the EFCC, and the date of the next sitting is October 13th, 2026. Then we move on to number 2, which is Yahaya Bello, who is the former governor of Kogi State, for an alleged 110 billion fraud and forfeiture of 80.2 billion naira in assets. So the prevailing agency is the EFCC. The presiding judge is Honorable Justice Emeka Nwauite. But for the date of next sitting, the proceedings were adjourned to progress to the next stage of trial. The number 3 will be heading to Godwin Emefiele, who is the former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, who is on trial for corruption, abuse of office, and property forfeiture. So the prevailing agency is the EFCC. The date of next sitting is July 2nd, 2026, and the presiding judge is Honorable Justice Hamza. Then we move on to number 4, who is Willie Obiano, who is the former governor of Anambra State, and the offenses are embezzlement and money laundering amounting to 4 billion. And the prevailing agency is EFCC. The presiding judge for it is Justice, and the date for next sitting, no date yet, but it was adjourned indefinitely on November 25, 2025. That was last year, pending a ruling decision regarding to the return of the original judge. And the last person here on my list is Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, who is the former governor of Abia State. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, your time is almost up, so quickly round up your thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, the last person on my list is Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, who is the former governor of Abia State. He's standing trial for alleged 7 billion money laundering, and the prevailing agency is the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, which is the EFCC. The presiding judge is Justice I.E. Ekwo. That is my research that I got. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Please, which of the schools are you from? Just to know, which of the schools are you from?
I'm from Alex Ekwueme Federal University,
Okay.
says.
Thank you.
Alex Ekweme, Federal. Hello?
I got it. Thank you. Thank
Alex
you.
Ekweme, Federal.
Let's move on to group 2. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. That was a good one. Group 2, who is presenting on behalf of group 2? Just raise your digital hand. Who is presenting for group 2? Okay, looks like group 2 is not ready.
It's me, Deborah.
Okay, Deborah.
Okay. Yes.
Deborah, your
For
time
group
is
two,
your
my name is
time has
Obinna
started.
Deborah.
Yeah, you have 2 minutes, so please try to brush things up.
Okay, my group was asked to look for high 5-profile cases of corruption. The number one person is James Ibori, ex-governor of Delta State. He diverted a total of $250 million. Converted to naira is 48 billion naira. The case summary says that he did money laundering through offshore companies, and his assets were seized in US and Nigeria. The length of trial is 5 years, since 2007 to 2012. He was sentenced for 13 years imprisonment. The second person is Emefiele Godwin, former CBN governor. Converted total of 2.88 billion naira. Charged for unlawful possession of funds and abuse of office, as well as procurement fraud. His trial is still ongoing since 2023 till now. Next person is Yahawa Bello, the ex-governor of Kogi State, diverted a total of 80 billion naira. And also he was charged for diversion of state allocation and public contracts. Trial is since 2023 till now. And the last person on our list is Alison Madueke, ex-Minister of Petroleum, 10 billion naira. In dollars is $2.1 billion. And he was charged for bribery, oil contract kickbacks, and money laundering. And also, in the midst of the investigation, $158 million was recovered in US, and $72 million was recovered in Nigeria, which is a total of $225 million that was recovered. And his case length is since 2015, and is still ongoing. Thank you. That's our research so far.
Thank you so much, Deborah. What school are you from?
Alex Ekweme Federal University.
Thank you. Group 3, who is presenting on behalf of Group 3? Do we have a representative from Group 3? Group 4, do we have a representative for Group 4? Please. Amechi, are you presenting for Group 3?
Yeah, I'm presenting for Group 3.
Okay. You have just 2 minutes. Be as quick as you can, and your time is up. Thank you.
You said you should find out 5 never-ending cases in Nigeria. So I have one here, which is former governor of Abia State, Ojo Okalo. The trial for the case is 6,953 days, and the case is still under trial. And the Chief Justice that is involved in that is Justice IEU, Federal High Court, Maitena Aboja. And while he was accused of the case, he was charged for money laundering while in office. And I have another case here, which is Dr. Adeyu Olusegun and 10 others. The presiding judge there was Honorable Justice Evix X Chukwu, Federal High Court, and why he was accused of was stealing money while he's still on duty, and the length of the trial is 6,189 days. I guess my co will complete the other one.
Okay, Grace. Thank you, Amechi, for that. Grace, please go on. You can unmute and speak.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Grace Ndukwe from the School of... Can you people hear me?
Grace, I can hear you. You have 1 minute, less than a minute to share your thoughts. So go on, please.
Okay. Good day, everyone. I'm Ndukwe Grace. Based on the topic that was given to us, these are top 5 never-ending corruption cases in Nigeria. The names, length of trial, case updates, and persecuting government. First of all, the names, Ojizo Carlo case, and his length of trial is 19 years. Godwin Emefiele case, and length of trial is 3 years. Yahaya Bello case, and his length of trial is 2 years. Ahmed Idris, length of trial 4 years. And Ella El-Rufai's case, length of trial. Then
Thank
we
you so
move to the case.
Grace, thank you so much for that. Yeah, we'll add it will be added to what Amechi had already said. Thank you. Since you both are together. Thank you. Group 4.
Okay, so
Who is presenting for Group 4? Do we have anyone from Group 4? Okay, Group 5, are you ready? Presenters for Group 4 or Group 5, just raise your digital hand and you'll be asked to unmute. Okay. Please go on.
Okay, hello, good morning.
Yes, which of the groups are you representing?
Group 5.
Okay.
Okay, so we're asked to present cases that are being prosecuted by the EFCC and provide details such as the type of offense, presiding judge, the name of court, and the status of the case. Hear me?
Yes, please go on. You have less than 2 minutes. Please go on.
Okay, my first case here is the case of Federal Republic of Nigeria versus Joseph Adigizi Anthony. It was the type of offense is fraud. The presiding judge is Honorable Justice Malini Peter Hemrick. Then it was the name of the court is the Federal High Court, Kaduna, and the status of the case is still on trial. And the second case is the case of Federal Republic of Nigeria versus OK Justin Eze, who is the managing director of Ashford Industries Limited and one other. The type of offense is fraud. The presiding judge is Honorable Justice O.A. Taiwo. The name of court is State High Court, Ikeja, Lagos. And the status of the case is still on trial. The third case is Federal Republic of Nigeria versus Matthew Anago. Type of offense is cybercrime and fraud. Presided by Honorable Justice M.A. Dada. Held in State Court, holding in State High Court, Ikeja, Lagos, and it is still on trial. The next case is Federal Republic of Nigeria versus Musa Farouk Abubakar for fraud, presided by Honorable Justice Obiora Atuegu Egwatu, holding in Federal High Court, Maitama, Abuja. The case is still on trial. The last case is Federal Republic of Nigeria versus Okoro Blessing Nkiruka, Blessing CEO, for false pretense and fraud, presided over by Justice R.A. Oshodin, Special Offences Court, Ikeja, Lagos. It is still on trial. Thank you very much. I'm Mukona Kolaya John Ipua for
Thank you.
5.
Thank you. So for everyone that presented, please drop your name, your group, and the name of your school in the chat box. I will now hand over to Mr. Yusuf. We will give his remarks, on all the presentations. Group 4, if you still want to share your thoughts, you can put it in the chat box. We don't have so much time. Mr. Yusuf. Mr. Yusuf, are you on the call? Can you hear us?
Yes, Eunice, thank you so much. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you all for the presentation. I mean, I am very impressed with Group 1, 2, 3, and Group 5. I don't know why Group 4 were not able to present their assignment, but essentially, this practical session is to, test the tool that we just used for our training, and for you to familiarize yourself with these tools and to see how easy it is to apply for your investigations. All these groups assignments, that the questions for group 1 to 5, all these are subjects for your stories. You know that as a student journalist, you can publish these assignments as your story. You can turn this assignment into a data-driven story using this court cases database platform. This is a tool that, for instance, group 1, you are asked to tell a story or to tell us about the politically exposed persons in Nigeria, and in their response, they find that Ahmed Idris, that's the former Accountant General of the Federation, who was accused of diverting billions of naira of public funds, then former governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, then the former CBN governor. They also mentioned former governor of Abia State, Oji Uzukalu. You know that this is, a very big story that many Nigerians are either not aware of, or they might have forgotten these cases because the cases have lingered for so long. Now, these are stories that you can turn into data-driven stories, but you can just expand the scope. Instead of top 5, you can do something like top 10, top 20 cases of politically exposed persons going on in Nigeria right now. What you need to know about these things. You now tell us about these details, how much they are accused of being, diverting from public funds. If it's money laundering, you also tell us about it. You can turn that into a big story, a data-driven story. You don't need to go anywhere from your school, from your classroom. You can tell the story using this platform. You can write the story and publish. Many of your friends are not aware, but because you have access to this tool today, you can tell these important stories. You can see how simple it is. All the platforms that I shared with you, these are digital tools that are very simple, and it's very easy to apply. After just a presentation of 5-10 minutes, you are able to go and look for these things. All these 5 topics are topics that you can, apply in your data, or what is it called, campus journalism, to tell the stories so that you inform your colleagues, your classmates, your course-mates, your schoolmates. They can read about these stories if they are not aware, and you can take credit to say that I'm the one that do the research and using this platform to tell the story. The presentation by group 2 is also similar, but that one is on group 2 is high profile cases of corruption in Nigeria. So there's a space in that platform. I'm very happy that all of you have explored the platform and how flexible it is. But for this group 2 assignment, for instance, there is a way you can do the presentation. All you need to do is just to go to the corruption cases database. Just a moment, I'm trying to share the page with us so that you can see how. Yes, so this is it. If you can see my screen, you can see this, the cases I'm talking about. There is a section that the website categorized as high profile cases of corruption in Nigeria today, and you can see the length of the thread. So this is, you have view more, you can see all the cases here on my screen. So if you go on this page that I'm sharing on my screen today, you can tell a lot of stories about details of this information, high profile cases of corruption in Nigeria. I can see the name of former Senate President Adolphus Wabara, the former governor of Jigawa State, Saminu Traki, all the names are there. So using just one page of corruption cases database, it gives us access to all this information about the high profile cases. Then the group 3, they mentioned the name of Orji Uzor Kalu, Dayo Olagunju, but the last 3 names they mentioned are not, sorry, that is not part of their assignment, because they mentioned the name of Ahmed Idris, Yahya Bello, El-Rufai. These cases are not part of never-ending corruption cases in Nigeria, because if you look at the trial of El-Rufai, it just started this year in 2026. The trial of Yahya Bello started in 2024, which is barely 2 years ago. Trial of Ahmed Idris also started sometime around 2021 or 2022. So these are not never-ending cases, but I will share also with us the details about the never-ending cases on the platform, so that you can visit the platform again to see these never-ending cases I'm talking about. I'm talking about cases that have lingered for more than 15 years. These are never-ending cases of corruption according to the Corruption Cases Database, which is a platform of Transparency International. So you can see on my screen, we have cases that are never ending. For instance, case of Orji Uzor Kalu, it has lingered for more than 6,900 days. You have cases of Dayo Olagunju, which these 2 names that I mentioned, you've mentioned it also in your presentation, but the others could have been Johnson Kolawole, Abdullahi Adamu, former governor of Nasarawa State. His trial has also been there. It started in 2010, 3rd March, and Pina Chidi, his own started in 2011. So you can see these top 5 cases. You can view more on the page, and you see more cases that are never ending. But for the purpose of this presentation, let's limit it to these top 5. But my concern was to show us that what they mean by never-ending cases of corruption is how trial of individuals have lingered for more than 15 years. And when you delay such trial, it makes it difficult for even the prosecuting agency to gather all the evidence they have, all the data that they have. It makes it very difficult for witnesses to come out again to testify in these cases. And this is the problem that you need to highlight. If you are telling this story, you can speak with lawyers to get their insights about what this means for our justice system. And then lastly, group 5, they made a presentation about the cases that EFCC are prosecuting right now. So there is a pattern in that assignment, and this is what I want us to see in that pattern, is that out of the top 5 cases that EFCC is investigating, we can see something there. For instance, just a moment. There is a pattern that you can look at, and that pattern is, out of these top 5 cases that you mentioned, one single judge is the one handling the cases. And this means if we have, let's say, top 20 cases or top 30 cases, this is what you should look at. Who are the presiding judges? So if we have, out of 5, we have 3 cases assigned to one single individual, and his name is Honorable Justice A. Rashidi, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, his name is Justice R.A. Oshodi. His name is Justice R.A. Oshodi. So now the story you can tell from this Group 5 assignment is that these are, well, yeah, the story can stand alone, that these are the cases that EFCC are investigating, give us all the details that we need. Another story could be, okay, what is the pattern? Why is Justice R.A. Oshodi the only person handling such cases? And if such cases are delayed, are we going to hold Justice R.A. Oshodi responsible for also delaying such cases? If you can have 5 or 10 judges from this data, we have more than 5,000 cases here. Look at the pattern, put it on a spreadsheet in an Excel, do the analysis. Let's see who are the judges delaying corruption cases in Nigeria. Let's know them. I promise you, are going to have a very interesting story. Then the next pattern could have been state. Why is it that out of top 5 and you could do 50, let's see which state is the top state, where people are committing these crimes. In this case, the top 5, we have Lagos is the top state. So it could be that if you have 50 cases or 100 cases in Nigeria that the government is prosecuting through EFCC, you'll see that another pattern, maybe it's Lagos, maybe it's Edo State, maybe Delta State. You can see, tell this story, using data. These are data that are verifiable from the EFCC and also from court cases from Federal High Court, State High Courts in Nigeria, and Transparency International help us to collect all this data. So the pattern was what I'm trying to talk about, that there is always a pattern in data. And when you are looking at data story like this, you have large chunk of data, more than 5,000 cases. Always look for pattern, look for an outlier. What is different? What is this data showing you? Is there a pattern? Is there something that's changing over time? Do we have the same issue over and over again coming up? The Group 4 assignment, I would have loved them to present on that topic, but very briefly, let me just touch on that. You're talking.
Yes, sorry, Yusuf.
Yeah.
Before Rep just mentioned in the chat box that her network was bad, but I think she's back now. She would like to present.
Okay. Great.
So do you mind if we just give her?
Yes. She should go ahead, please.
3 minutes, okay. Mary Grace, are you able to speak now? Okay. It looks like she's no longer on the call, so you can go on to.
Okay. So
any other Group 4 member on the call who would like to present? Any other Group 4 member? Please go on, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so Group 4, their assignment was to present on the top 10 offenses taking Nigerians to jail. And then they should give us data behind the offense, top 5 states on the list, and the percentage of cases that have been decided in these cases. So let's go to the website and see. Just very quickly. So this is the data portal. If you go to corruption data cases, you'll see. So you have the list of data here, or the list, the cases of we're talking about that we asked Group 4 to present. Now this is the top offenses in Nigeria: cybercrime or fraud. Second, you have more than 4,200 cases of cybercrime right now that the FCC is investigating. We also have more than 1,300 cases of fraud. We have 264 cases of money laundering, and then we have 263 cases of illegal dealing in oil and gas or oil products, and then we have 209 cases of stealing. These are the top 5 cases that we asked Group 4 to present, and it's very easy to find the data. Just go on the data portal on the main page of corruption cases database. That's addressed. If you go down, the next aspect of the assignment is top 5 states on the list. Let's see the top 5 states. When you go down on that same page on the data portal, you'll see the top 5. These are the top 5 states by cases. You have Edo State, you have Lagos, you have Oyo, Abuja, and then Kaduna State. These are the top 5 states The last is percentage of cases that have been decided. Somewhere up, you have cases by status. 74% of the cases have been decided, while only 25% of these cases are still on trial. That's, I think that's very good, and many of this information is not out there on the internet. So just go through this data portal. There is a lot of data that you can utilize to tell your stories. Yeah, so thank you very much all for participating in this group presentation. I will hand over to Eunice as we move forward in the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf. Thank you for your analysis on those presentations. So it's really, really insightful. Thank you, sir. We now move on to a career side chat, where we will be inviting our Executive Director, WSIG's Executive Director / CEO, Alaka. She will be joined by our facilitator, Mr. Yusuf, to answer all our career-related questions. 2 years, 3 years down the line, most of us will be out of schools. We'll be out of school, and then the question will now emerge: what's next? What am I supposed to do now? I'm out of school, no more classes. What's the next step? So, based from their experiences and all that they've done in their career, they will be sharing with us some insights. So you can drop your questions in the chat box. While we are at that, I'll just give both of them some minutes to introduce themselves, mostly Ms. Moturayo Alaka, Ms. Alaka, to just share some insights based on our long years of experience in the corporate world. Over to you, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me start by thanking our resource person, Kabir Yusuf, for being here and for what was a very useful session. I'm certain that the next time that we want to do this, we'll just leave the 2.5 hours for you, Kabir, and so that you can have enough time to drill down, because this is really useful. I promised our participants that they will have it good with you today, and I'm glad that you have delivered. And it's interesting, we're talking about career. I was telling them yesterday that just less than 10 years ago, you were an intern, you came to intern at WSIG, and now we're both serving on the same panel as resource persons. So if you put in the work, you would see the progress. I think I just jotted a few thoughts down, and Eunice, you need to do like this where you want me to stop, so that I'll take 2 minutes to round off. I can talk about career for days, but not quite career. I will call it building to significance, because career is so limited. It's just about you. It's good. It's about you building a good job that pays you well, that you do well. But my own thoughts when I was the age of most of you on the call and much younger had always been that I wanted to be a significant person. I wanted to build to significance. So I never really looked for a job like that. I was never after just paying my bills. I found ways. I was lucrative. I was entrepreneurial. I found ways to raise money to pay bills. But when it came to what I did with most of my time, I wanted to go to bed happy. I wanted to be sure that, because time is life, I wanted to be sure that I was using my life well, and I was building to significance. And the first thing that I would say is that you need to know yourself. I said it yesterday, so I won't beat it over the head. Know yourself. Everybody, I'm giving you an assignment. Just sit down and do a SWOT analysis for yourself. For those who don't know what SWOT is, it is your strengths. Write it down, your strengths, your weakness, your opportunity, your threats. Just write it down for yourself and just do it. Know what you are very good at, so that, you build that up and you put that forward. Know the things that you are struggling with, and know the one that, you're struggling with it, but it's not a deal breaker. But if you are struggling with, like, let's say you have an habit to drink too much, or you have an habit to not use your time well, those ones are significant. They would affect you in the long run. So you have to deal with weaknesses that are detrimental, but weaknesses that are like, for instance, we have a fantastic graphic artist at WSCIG called Oluwaseun. I cannot design anything to save my life, although I know what a good work looks like. So it's a weakness that I have, but it's not significant to my own life. It's significant to the person who chooses that line. So be careful so that you're not stuck just thinking about your weaknesses. Maximize your strengths. And then, what are your opportunities? In the digital age, like, Kabir just showed you, there's so much that is possible. This is just tools. Look at all the AI tools that are available. Look at how you can connect around the world. Way back in 2011, I connected with a woman called Margaret Wren by just searching out her email address online, and I brought her to Nigeria. She's British, to start her Pro Engage program. Now I think about it and say, 15 years after, we can do much more than what I could do in 2011 just by searching the internet. So know that. Second thing I'll say is find your place. Find your place. Where is your place? Some of you journalism, some of you other professions. The third thing I'll say is find a mentor. I find that if you have a mentor, the step, when you have a ladder and it has 20 steps, sometimes the mentor can carry you 5 steps up because they give you access to rooms. Way from when I started, my mentor up till now. And, a mentor is not somebody you change. So you have to find the time to find a good mentor. Eunice, you are telling me that I should round off? Or you are saying well done?
Yes, 2 more minutes. We've started having questions.
Okay, no problem. Just let me round up because some of these things I'll say, it will answer some questions. So permit me. So I found a mentor, and a mentor is not something you change. The mentor I had when I started in 2005 is still my mentor till today. Because even if let's say you become president and your mentor is a local government chairperson, you chose that person for beyond money or beyond their position. You chose them for their values, for what they carry, what you see in them. So my mentor has been Dapolo Yomi from the start of my career up till now. He will be my mentor in 10 years' time. I've had other people that I learned from, but that's my mentor. Mentors can help you to go far. The 5th thing that I would say is that once you find your place, stay there, stay at your place. A lot of times, young people, when I read CVs, you've been somewhere for 6 months, you have been somewhere for another 8 months, you have moved 1 year. Kabir has been at Premium Times for a bit now, and he has built, something there. So stay to build. Don't just jump around, because when we see your CV all over the place, it shows your personality that you can't hold something down. There will always be challenges, whatever you choose. The capacity to stay and build, get out of there with something is very important. And then there's some things under it, but because Eunice is on my neck, let me say the last thing. Stay self-aware. Stay self-aware, because when I say stay there, while you are staying, sorry, Eunice, while you are staying, make sure you keep learning, make sure you keep growing, make sure you build a base, make sure you are strategic. So I'm not saying stay there and do nothing, but stay there and be conscious and be strategic. And strategy is different from politics. Be truthful, but you can be strategic. And finally, stay self and environment aware. Know what is changing in you and what is changing around you. What's changing in you? Sometimes you find out that you are no longer comfortable. Eunice clock. So now I have 1 minute more. So sometimes you find out that you are no longer comfortable with a particular task. Like I used to do a lot of admin work when I started out. But as I grew in my career, I realized I don't like admin work. I don't like it. But I did it at that point because I needed to do it because that was my stage in life, and there's work. And I still do some admin work now. But if I can get rid of it, I won't do admin things because that's not what I'm wired for. I'm wired as an editor. I'm wired as an entrepreneur. I'm wired as a leader. So please be self-aware what is changing in you so that you can pivot. Maybe you just find that you are now interested in AI, not because everybody is interested, but because you are finding that, I am paying attention and knowing this thing. So you know when to pivot so that you don't stay where you're not supposed to stay for too long. And then stay aware of your environment. What's changing in journalism? What's changing in Nigeria? What's changing around the world? What do I need to be there? So those are the basis I'll give to you. And then from there, myself and Kabir will answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mutare, for that. That was rich. Thank you so much. I'll take the first question from Ekuga. He's asking, how do you decide what to do since there are so many things obtainable as a mass communication student? Broadcasting, print, correspondence, etc., especially if you like all of them. So he's asking, how do you decide what to do? I will let Mr. Yusuf start, then Mr. Laka will then share thoughts as well. Over to you, Mr. Yusuf.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Salaka, for this presentation. In a very few minutes, myself, I've learned a lot, and I hope all our colleagues on the call have taken note of what she said about being self-aware, about being, having a mentor and staying in your place. It's very, very important. So to this question, if you're studying mass communication, in my school, then I studied mass communication, and just like today, there are so many fields in mass communication, but we have what we call your main courses or your major courses that you're going to major in, maybe journalism, maybe broadcasting, public relations, print. So in school, if you started practicing today, you would have known that by taking some courses like courses in investigative journalism, courses on feature writing, courses on broadcasting. These are introductory courses, but you would have known that if you are also self-aware, like Mrs. Alaka said, you would have begin to know that I think my strength lies in presenting to the public. My strength lies in broadcast. My strength lies in writing. I have had passion for writing from my level 1 or from my secondary school. This is a time for me to improve or to build on that writing. So these are some of the ways you would have known if you are self-aware. But also, if you are not, you're still in school, you can still have the opportunity right after school, maybe, or even in school today, you can start volunteering. When I was in the university, before I graduated my final year, I was already volunteering. We have so many group in school that I was volunteering for. You join this social group to see how you make debates, how you can organize debates, how you can organize cultural events. All these are things that begin to shape your understanding of what is out there, and you build your strength on that. So if you are not participating in these events, I urge you to participate in something outside your curricular activity, so that you begin to know what is it that you are good at. You become self-aware. And if you're also not able to do that, then you can get a mentor in your school. If you have a lecturer that you have a course that you are enjoying their course, you can begin to have sessions with these lecturers to know more about the courses that you love, that you really love. So for instance, if your favorite course in school is feature writing, why this is a time for you to start reading about feature writing. There are so many newspapers, online, print. These are also online, so you don't need to subscribe. You just read this through, read good writing, and you can start imitating. Professor Wole Soyinka used to say that the best form of writing, or the best form of beginning as a writer, is by imitating. So you can imitate good writing, and in the coming months or years, I'm telling you that you're going to see that maybe that's your niche. Also, if you are good at broadcasting, begin to monitor the best broadcast organizations that we have. What is it that you are doing in practice today in school that that can help you enhance on that? So just look for right from school. You can identify through these 3 ways that I say. Identify this. If you are not engaging in any, make sure that you can start today by maybe identifying your favorite course. Begin to relate with your students who are good on that, your colleagues and your lecturers. Ask questions so that you can know and become self-aware that this is your strength and this is the opportunity in that strength. Thank you. I think I'll stop here because of time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf. Mrs. Alaka, do you have anything you want to add to that? Okay, I see that. She dropped a chat. You're muted. Hello, Ma. Do you want to share something?
I have nothing to add. Kabir has done a fantastic job. I wouldn't like to beat it over the head. Let's just move on.
Okay, this is we have another question from Deborah. Deborah is asking, in 2 months now, most of us will be done with school. To avoid mistakes and delays in our career life, what could be the right step to take, Ma? So she's addressing that to you.
Okay, what I'm going to tell you, it will not be as they use the language. It won't be sexy. It won't be what you want to hear. But just if any one of you decides to try it, we can compare notes in 5 years and see where you are. Let your default be, once you know your place and number one, you have to know what you want to do. So use this time till, as you are serving, make sure that you have clarity. I want to go to PR, and there's nothing wrong with going to PR. It's a good profession. What is wrong is that you join journalism and you start practicing PR, public relations inside journalism. That's one. You will eventually just you won't get the best of both professions. So decide. But after you've decided, find a good place and serve. Learn everything you can. Find a place where you can be open to, where people are challenging you, where they are giving you tasks that are just a bit beyond you, that you have to stretch yourself and serve. Learn everything you can and, keep deploying those things. If you look out for money first, let me tell you a quick story. I met somebody at a chat, and he was telling us he was trying to find a job. I was on an interview panel. He was trying to find a job with an organization. And by the time he told me of his career, he had read mass communication, actually. He studied mass communication. And he was at that time in class with, I won't mention that person's name, with one of the most successful editors now. The person is editing for an international media organization in Nigeria. We were classmates. Immediately after school, what happened was that he got a job with a private company doing customer relation. At that time in their careers, it was the big boy because it was a private communications company and they were paying huge. So he was excited. He was the big boy. Those ones, the other guy that is now a global editor, they were the small boys because it looked like they were scrounging because they were paying their dues. Now, about 20 years later, because he did not really have a heart for the private company he went to, there's nothing wrong with going to a private company. There's nothing wrong with going into government, but let it be where your heart is, what you want to build. You understand? So because he didn't really have a heart to do it, he left the private company, went to other places. Eventually, 20 years later, he was trying to get a job in an organization similar to where the global editor. Now, 20 years later, the other one has become a global editor. Remember, first 5 years, 10 years, that one did not look like or feel like much because there's no money, and we live in a society that values you based on how much you have in your society. But it was building to significance. So after 20 years, this one is a global editor. This one is trying to find a job, mid-career job, when he's supposed to have been on top of a journalism career, because there is always a price to pay. If you don't pay it today, you might be asked to pay it 10 years' time. You might be asked to pay it in 15 years. You might be asked to pay it in 30 years, but you must pay. So when you are thinking career, think strategically. And strategy is not just money. Strategy is placement. Strategy is, putting in the work so that you pay the price, you build what you're supposed to build. When you want to move, you'll move good. And in a few years, you would have something not just that pays your bills, but that is also very fulfilling to you, because people start looking for fulfillment in their late 30s and late 40s. A lot of times, if they didn't look for it as young people, they'll be lost for a long time and they won't be happy people.
Thank you, Ma, for that. Mr. Yusuf, do you have anything to add to that?
I mean, there's I'm not sure there's anything, but just to mention something on what Mrs. Alaka said, looking at placement after your school, if you please use this opportunity after your maybe final exam before you start your NYSC, look for the best place to volunteer or for internship. You can start from there, but don't just look for anywhere because you want to, start working because you want to start earning something. It's good to earn money, but those of you that are interested in journalism and want to start practicing journalism, there is a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of platforms that are calling for internship, campus journalism, postgraduate internship and placement. You can apply to these rules and you can start from there. But my point, or the point I wanted to make, is that you need to have at the back of your mind that comfort doesn't come in a rush, and this is irrespective of whatever profession that you're going into. If you want, you're going to be comfortable eventually, but you have to put in the work early in your career. You have to do everything within your right, and that is legally. There is this rush to get money, to make it, to impress people on social media, but it doesn't come quick. You have to build something. You have to be able to create value. I tell you something. Last year in December, I was in Ghana, and after I finished speaking, a lady walked up to me. She said that, "Thank you so much for your presentation. I'm a 300 student in University of Ghana or something." So she said, "But I'm happy with everything you said, but sir, I'm sorry. Me, I just want to make money, and I want to make it very, very big." And I said, "Okay, what can you offer? Let's say today, right from school today, you want to make money. Why should anybody entrust you with the responsibility to make money? What value can you offer?" And then she was speechless. I said, "So money comes by adding value. You have to be able to add a value to an organization or to the society before you can make money." So please, you can start asking yourself question, as much as you love money, but what value can you offer to the society, to the community, to where you are, that can bring that money? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yusuf. Money comes by adding value. That's a punchline. So we have a number of questions. I'm going to tie everything into one because of our time. Before I do that, the attendance form and post-training survey form is in the chat box. Please fill them if you haven't. Then also, please put in your testimonials, like just what you've learned so far, how the experience has been so far. Just put it in the chat box. Also, remember to put your name and your school. So the last question I want, two questions, but I'm going to tie everything together. The last one will be, I see some questions around how do I get my first placement? How do I get started in the job, in the world of getting a job and all that? I want both of you to speak to what exactly are recruiters looking for? What are those skills that would make them employable as young graduates? Then I would let Ms. Alaka go first. Someone then asked, are there opportunities in WSIJ for current undergraduates to grow? So I'm going to add it to the question. What are recruiters looking for currently when it comes to skills? And are there opportunities for recent graduates to be a part of what WSIJ does? Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, so let me start with the second one. So this is ProEngage is the opportunity to, in WSIJ, we're building the skills of campus journalists. We've been doing it since 2011, and we do it very intentionally, not just for this program. We also include campus students. We also include students in about all of our programs. We go as far as transporting students to our events to ensure that, they listen, they get inspired, because you have to have depth. And and I'll link that straight to your question about what are recruiters looking for. Recruiters are looking for entrepreneurship, not just because you can buy and sell. They are looking for enterprise, rather. They're looking for your capacity to make something out of what you have as a student. So put everything in it. Like Kabiru had said earlier, participate beyond just departmental assignments and the rest. and show recruiters that you are somebody who participates, not somebody who gallivants. They are two different things. Somebody who participates, so if you are interested in drama, you are in journalism, but you're interested in drama, be consistent for 3 years in that drama and show that, oh, you have been consistent. It doesn't necessarily mean that you must become the secretary of the drama, whatever, or the top. Just be somebody who shows up and show that you are somebody who shows up. Recruiters look at that. Recruiters look at stability, which goes back to what I said earlier too. Are you stable? Or are you somebody who has tried this, tried that? Every week you are trying a new invention, not perfecting one of the inventions, but you just keep trying them and dropping them. You have to show that. Many recruiters, whatever across profession, and that is why as journalists you have an edge. But not all journalism students are found build their writing skills. Writing is a skill across profession. It's a skill even in leadership. See, I brought in global leaders just because I can write an email, and there was no ChatGPT then to help me to write a convincing email. I brought in global leaders to come and speak at WSIJ events or do things with us just by writing well. Because when they read it, they want to come. I will make a case. Joining a literary debate, I mean, I did that all through secondary school. I debated, I wrote, I was in the press club all through secondary school. So I will write. Writing, so build your writing skills. Don't just build it to submit assignment. Actually build your creative, and official writing skills. What are the recruiters want? Recruiters want you to add value. So WSIJ, normally we don't recruit. We adly, not that we don't, we adly recruit NYSC candidates. We want you to have finished NYSC to know that you want to come to this side. Apart from like the program Kabir participated in, which that one we design it for students of journalism. But otherwise, as a company, we don't recruit students. But once in a while, we recruit students when we see potential. When we see that this one is a serious-minded student, this one is doing something different, is adding value, we can see it, and everybody can see it in your CV. I know that we're in an era where AI writes CVs for people, but be careful, write it by yourself. You can let AI rearrange it for you, but write exactly what value you have added. And at your stage, don't do too much of customizing of a CV. Customize it, yes, to show the recruiter that you paid attention to what they are looking for. But everything that you have done is value when you are just a school leaver or you are just 2 years out of school. So mention everything, find a way to mention every value that you have ever added anywhere. I tell people, including, sitting down with a cousin or an aunt and babysitting for a whole holiday. Include it in a way that is presentable, because at this point, you have not worked much. And finally, let me say that while you're in school, there's so much opportunity now. Be volunteering from school. Kabir mentioned volunteering from 100 level, 200 level. Go somewhere every holiday. Go somewhere and volunteer and add value. It might even be a social work. Just volunteer. What your recruiters are looking at is the spirit of the work. Not necessarily, how many years you have worked, but the spirit, the consistency, the attitude, the mindset that says, I'm not going to sit at home, I'm going to add value. As a rule, if I see gap year in somebody's CV, if it's 6 months, if it's 1 year, if I like the CV, I will note it. The person has to explain that gap year to me. If the person's explanation is that they were at home because they didn't find anything to do, as a rule, we will not take that person. If your explanation is that, so I have 2 years gap, I was looking for a job. So you spent 2 years just looking for a job. I'm not going to employ you. But if you tell me, I experienced a massive trauma, we can think about it. But otherwise, if it's not something life-defining that made you not to do anything for 6 months, for 1 year, I won't employ you. Because how can you leave that gap just looking for a job? What were you doing while you were looking for a job? Even if it's a primary school next to you, you can walk there and say, I read journalism. Can I teach English? Can I teach literature? You must add value. Thank you. Kabir can.
Yeah, Mr. Yusuf, please.
Okay, thank you so much for this very short but important presentation. Just to add that, please, if we're talking about, adding value, making a difference, and understanding what you are doing, when you find yourself in a space, let's say you decided to settle for journalism, or you find yourself in a media organization and you want to begin your journalism career, make sure that you understand what you are doing. You understand it very, very well. So, for instance, if you are a public relation practitioner, if you are a broadcast journalist, make sure that you understand what you are doing very well. An organization invited me recently to to interview some candidates for a certain role. And when I began to ask about 6 candidates that applied, when they come in and I ask them that, okay, your CV shows that you've been working in so role for the last 5 years, 6 years, for the last 7 years. Tell us about that role, maybe in just 1 or 2 minutes. You should be able to speak on what you are doing with authority, that this is my field, this is what I've practiced, this is the value I've added, this is what I did, this is how I engaged communities, this is how my work has impacted. But you get people sometimes become confused about this question. About it's not confusing. But if I ask you today that if you are a student of mass communication, tell me in 2 minutes what you understand about mass communication, and what is it so far that you've learned about mass communication, and you are ready in 2 months' time, you are ready to go out there to face the world about this your profession. Can you speak confidently and authoritatively that this is your field, that and you know what you studied? It's not just about passing exams. You should be able to tell me about that. So the same thing with your career. When you start, you should be able to know in and out of that career. So I'm a journalist today, and if you find me at a conference, at any event, and you ask me, please tell me about investigative journalism, or tell me about how Premium Times operates, tell me about the mode of writing, tell me about anything that you ask me about this, I should be able to tell you. And I will tell you this without looking at anything, without conducting any research, because this is what I've been doing for the last 6-7 years. So whatever you find yourself doing, make sure that before anything else, you need to know yourself and to develop yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf. That was very insightful. Thank you so much, Mrs. Alaka, as well. Thank you very much. I'm sure our students have taken a lot of notes. I myself have learned a lot from the session. Thank you. So now we will move on to a picture taking session. Please, if you're still actively on this call, kindly turn on your camera. Please turn on your camera. We want to take a group picture. Please turn on your camera wherever you are. Turn on your camera if you're able to. Please turn on your camera. Please do also follow Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism across all our social media platforms. We are active on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on X, formerly known as Twitter. We are active on Facebook, on Instagram, and you can as well check our websites to learn more about what we do. Now we would take the picture. Please put on your best smile if you're able to. I can see some people are sleeping on the call. Are you tired already? Okay, we are leaving. Thank you, Grace, for that beautiful smile. Esther, we can't see you. Green Victoria, please turn on your camera if you're able to. I see that most of you are in transit, so going to classes or something. Just try as much as possible to be present for this session. Thank you. Let's go on. Everybody say WSCIJ.
WSCIJ.
WSCIJ. Thank you very much. And that will be the end of today's session. We want to appreciate every one of you for coming, for showing up. Thank you for bringing your energy to today's session. Thank you for actively contributing. We really do appreciate you. Please, if you are yet to fill the survey or the attendance form, if you are yet to sign in terms of filling your registering your presence via the attendance form. Please do well to do that. The forms are up in the chat box. Please do that as soon as you can before we end the call. Thank you once again for your time. We would keep in touch. All the materials, resources that our facilitators shared today will be sent to you, and even yesterday's materials, everything you'll get there. Keep in touch with the WSIJ. You all have our WhatsApp number. You'll be seeing our status from time to time. Participate in all of our programs as much as you can. Thank you, and do enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.